Puentistas, welcome back and welcome to week 8. I'm here to give you your overview. We are about halfway through the semester, and this is the region in which things start to feel very real in terms of academic commitments and big projects coming up, big boss battles, as I like to call them. And if you're feeling like you're having trouble keeping up, or there are things going on with the other classes, or things that are outside of class that are making it a challenge at this particular time to get your work done or to focus, please, please, please come and talk to me. Um, Talk to Liz as well. We're here to help you, and we're here to help collaborate and solve problems together to make sure you're making the progress you need in order to complete this class, have the skills that this class gives, so you can be a better writer in your other classes, keep making progress towards your academic goal and also towards your professional goal. All right. I hope that didn't sound too naggy. So let's take a look at the overview. I've already clicked on. So here we are. We're going to continue to work on our research process, refining that, thinking about what's working, what's not working. Also, our critical reading skills, including how do we critically read these research articles. We've already started that conversation, but we're going to continue to develop it because you've already noticed that these read very, very differently than other things we read in our everyday lives. These research articles feel and read very, very different from even the CQ researcher article. So we're going to continue that discussion. We're also going to keep exploring the advantages and disadvantages of different English acquisition models. In other words, different ways for students to learn English in school. That's a different phrasing. I try to keep my phrasing consistent, but it's good to know what other phrasings and terms are used within a specific subject area. So we've got that. Coming up for Monday, I'm going to ask you to preview, read, and annotate English Composition 2, Research and Critical Reading. That's on the Lumen Learning site. Remember, you can find that link on the syllabus. I will also repost it here. We've already done a few small readings out of that. I will also ask you to post your comment 8 or comment for discussion 8 this week. I'm going to have to move that 8 over there, but I won't do that in front of you. I'm not going to bore you. By 11:59 p.m. Standard stuff. Coming up Thursday, make sure that you post 2 comments on 2 different posts by 11:59. I also want you to view the video, how to build an annotated bibliography. And I want you to start writing the sources list for your annotated bibliography. In other words, have that ready for next week when we're doing office conferences. So this Thursday in class, definitely have the video under your belt. If you want to wait until after class to post your comments, that's totally fine. The other thing I will say about Thursday, I had one more thing to say about it. And it's here, but it's not here. I'm talking about this. It'll come back to me as soon as I start talking about something else. So let's not belabor this anymore. That was uncomfortable for everybody. Here is your video, how to build an annotated bibliography. Now this one's an annotated bibliography for a literary analysis essay, an essay that's analyzing and interpreting a piece of literature. Now, even though it's a different kind of essay that is writing, the structure for the annotated bibliography is going to be the same. You're going to have the actual citation that would be on the works cited page in MLA format, and then a paragraph underneath. I would say we can go with a model off of what we see in the video. 6 sentences that are summarizing it, and maybe 1 sentence at the end describing how useful you think it will be for your essay writing project. Finally, we'll take a quick look at our discussion. And we're using our discussion to keep on talking about the research that we're doing. Since we're all kind of hovering around the same general topic, even though we might take different positions or different arguments, it's going to be good for us to talk with other people in the class about what we found, what we find useful. So I'm going to ask you to briefly state if you're going to be arguing for bilingual education, English immersion, or some other third language learning strategy for ELLs or English language learners. I'm going to ask you to share the title, author, and database for an article that you think you could use to support your position. In other words, support or back up your thesis statement. I know we're still in that very rough phase of building the thesis statement, but that's okay because we're still doing research. And we could talk about that more next week and when we move into the conferences. If you've got a link to it handy, put it in there as well. That would be wonderful. Because some people might look at it and think, hey, that might be an article that I want to check out for my essay. And you don't have to be a hoarder. You can't be like, no, that's my article. You can't use it. I hate you. No, it's okay because we're all kind of doing team research and discovering different pieces of research, but it's up to each of us as individuals whether we're going to use it or not and how we're going to use it. So yeah, share the love. Finally, I'm going to ask you to copy and paste an excerpt, maybe between 5 and 10 sentences that you think you could use in a support paragraph in your essay. Now, the part that you put in your essay is going to be quite a bit smaller than that, a sentence or two. But giving that 5 to 10 sentences will help give our readers extra context to really understand the importance of that particular excerpt. Now, what I'd like you to do then is explain in 4 sentences, don't have to be massive sentences, but 4 independent ideas in 4 independent sentences about why you think this excerpt is useful for supporting your position. So you're already starting to think about support strategies. Even though, we're still building the annotated bibliography, this is a small assignment that's helping us build up to the annotated bibliography. And the annotated bibliography is going to help us build up to an outline, which will help us build up to a rough draft. I know it's a lot of extra little steps in this one, but like I said, the more complicated the subject matter is, the higher up the class is in college or at university, the more these extra steps may be necessary for you to keep everything organized. And sometimes outside the English classes, they'll say, oh, I want to see an outline, I want to see a rough draft, but a lot of times they're not. A lot of times it's just going to be all you, and they're just going to say, final product, final paper is due on this day. That's it. Va con Dios. And whatever you do in between that time is totally up to you. So it's good for us to have these tools under our belt. It's going to come up to being your judgment call regarding which of these processes or phases of the writing process you want to use for any particular writing assignment. I really wish that more people outside just the English discipline required some of these steps into their process, because I think we all need practice with that. And within different disciplines, you're going to notice different expectations for writing, for structure, for researching, and focusing on those phases can help make those expectations more clear. So, as usual, get in your comment by Monday. Get in your 2 replies by Thursday. And that's pretty much it. Bang, bang, bang. And that looks like the end of week 8, and it looks like it's shorter than other weeks. But because we're in the research phase right now, a lot of this work is moving towards independent research and evaluation on your part. What that means is that's time outside of class where you've got to continue to evaluate articles and research and think about which ones you want to use and which ones you don't want to use. That is something that takes a little bit of practice, but again, that's why we're breaking everything into small phases. As we get a little bit closer, we'll talk a little bit more about the office conferences, but do remember you're going to bring in a works cited page with those sources you think you're going to use for your annotated bibliography. And we're having us turn in those sources in MLA format, like a works cited page, because it's going to be a nice rough cut or rough draft for what's going to be your works cited page when you turn in that final copy, that final draft. So if we don't do that, sometimes what happens, we're writing the papers, we do all the research, we're working hard on it, it's late, we've run out of monsters, and we finished everything except for the works cited page. We've left that thing to the end, and we're so gassed out, we just kind of go, ugh, and we just bang it out very carelessly, and we're not paying attention to it, and it's not really adhering to MLA format. So it's important for us to kind of get a rough cut of that out of the way early to make our lives easier. So that's the end of the overview for this week. Again, any questions or concerns that you have, please let me know, especially before Thursday. We can always talk about them Thursday as well. And you can always talk to me through Remind or Canvas Inbox, two best ways to reach me. Panther's a little bit tougher. You know that. I get a lot of emails. And it's not because I'm really popular. Thanks again. Hope you're having a great weekend right now. And I don't know about you guys, but where I live right now, Saturday morning was totally crazy. It was snowing in Redlands, in my backyard. I hope my citrus trees and mango tree don't get frostbite and die. Anyway, I'll get to leave you with that cute image and my kind of messed up falling down fence. Hope you're having a great weekend. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.